So the first thing I did was I used Huda Beauty Primer all over my face for a moisturised base, and then I went in with my POREfessional primer in the T-zone to help control the oil. I then moved on and colour corrected any dark spots and hyperpigmentation with NYX Corrector in Peach and Eyeko PRO.conceal in Orange Corrector. I then blended that out with a Real Techniques concealer brush around the mouth and under the eyes. It looked a bit like an orange. For foundation, I mixed Estée Lauder and Fenty foundation in Cashew and 209 for Fenty. And I blend that out with a beauty blender all over the face for a flawless base. For concealer, I then used the yellow corrector by NYX and Eyeko concealer in pure beige. I mixed the two and then put that in areas to highlight and add more coverage for spots and pigmentation. And then I contoured with Eyeko Toffee under my cheeks, over my forehead, jawline and nose for a slimmer look to the face. Using a contour brush, I blended that out, and whilst I blended that out, I let my concealer sit under the eyes and anywhere that I put it to highlight, so that it gets a little bit tacky and gives a bit more coverage. And then after that, I blended it out with an angled sculpt brush by Real Techniques. I then baked with RCMA no colour powder under the eyes and in the areas that I highlighted. I then go in with a powder brush and just kind of dust the rest of the powder on the rest of my face, like my cheeks and my forehead, and also dusting away any excess powder that I had from baking. I then grab my beauty blender and bounce in the powder under the eyes. It gives more coverage under the eyes rather than brushing it away and taking away. I then spray my face with my Badescu setting spray to melt together the powders, and then I got my beauty blender and I just bounced it on my face just to kind of set that and press that into the skin and let it sit for about 30 seconds. And after that I go in with my bronzer, and for my bronzer I use Estée Lauder Bronze Goddess in medium to bronze my face. And to finish off the face, after I bronzed, I went in with my Fenty highlighter in Hustler Baby on a fan brush by Real Techniques, and I put that on the high points of my cheeks, my brow bone, down my nose, the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and then I go in with my blusher, and it's MAC Gingerly Blush on my apples of my cheeks. And I do that because it allows a better, more natural gradient between the highlighter and blusher. I then also go back in with the brush with excess product that's on left of the brush of the highlighting brush. I just go over top my highlighter so that it just stands out a bit more. Brows, I use Benefit Precisely My Brow in shade 6 to kind of fill in the gaps in my brows. I actually did more of a natural brow look. I go back and forth with kind of blending with putting product and then blending out with the spoolie. And I just kind of did one, did the other, and then kind of corrected each side. So I kind of just checked over to make sure that both of them were okay. So for my eyes, I set my eyes with a little bit of powder just to kind of get rid of any oiliness and to kind of give a nice base for when I put shadows on so it blends better. So on the eyes, I then went in the outer corner of my eye with a fluffy brush from Real Techniques. I placed the colour kind of from the middle to the outer side of the eye in an angled kind of shape, and I kind of placed it, and then with a blending brush from Crown Cosmetics, it doesn't actually have a name, it's just called a blending brush, I blended it out, and then I kept on going between that, so I kept on packing on the colour on the outer corner and then blending out and doing it in more of a diagonal, angular direction. I used that Warm Obsessions palette, so I used a chocolate brown on the outer corner of my eye, and that's the colour that I blended it with, and I brought that in slightly into the inner corner and kept on blending it until I was happy with the colour payoff. Once I was happy with the colour payoff, I picked up her gold shade, which is a very gorgeous, like a warm gold, and I packed that on the inner corner to the middle of the eye, and I just kept that on the lid with my finger. To bring the look together, to tie it together, I then go in with a dark brown eyeliner pencil, I don't know what you can call that, by ModelsOwn, and it's just called dark brown, along my lash line, very close to my lash line, not going any further out. And then I take a small detailed brush and I blend it out to a slight wing, so I kind of create a winged, but it's like a more of a smoky effect. Once I've done that, I then curl my lashes with my Shuramure, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Shuramure eyelash curler, and I go in with my Black Magic Mascara by Eyeko, and I coat that over my lashes, about 2 layers. I then let the mascara on my top lashes dry, and whilst it's drying I apply it to my bottom lashes. I then get my Fenty highlighter again, and on a small pencil brush I then go in on the inner corner and just apply that on the inner corners and on the brow bone, I believe. And once the lashes are dry, I then go back in with my lash curler, which isn't actually something that you should do, but I do it, and I curl my lashes again just to create a more curled effect, because my lashes are quite straight so they drop, and I find this is a good trick actually that works, but it's not recommended. And I then go back in with the mascara and do another layer on top just to kind of separate the lashes, because sometimes when you curl them, once they're dry they get a bit clumpy, so just to separate them but also give them a bit more volume. Lips, I go in with Max Factor's lip liner in brown and bold, and I line my lips. I don't overline them because I don't feel like I need to, or I don't want to, so I just line my lips along my lip line. I then go in with MAC's Kinda Sexy, which is a really gorgeous peach nude, and I put that all over the lips, including where I put the lip liner, and that just creates a really nice ombre effect but also gives the illusion of bigger lips. I then go back in with my lip liner and I just go over the very edge of my lip line to kind of make that brown stand out a bit more. Once I've done that, I pose the camera, pose and then I spray my face with Urban Decay's Setting Spray All Night, which is my absolute favourite. It locks in all of the product that you have on the face, lasts all day. So we're done with the makeup. I hope you guys liked it. Also, comment down below any suggestions of what you would like to see next.